All right, fans, here we are. Time for the annual Unicellular Hall of Fame and Awards Show. Today we're going to induct 3 members to the Unicellular Hall of Fame. Let's meet them now, shall we? The Hall of Fame. Congratulations to the 3 new members of the Unicellular Hall of Fame, of course. To be in the Unicellular Hall of Fame, you need to be unicellular. Uni, meaning singular, 1. Cellular, meaning made of cells, unicellular. And we have 3 members of the Hall of Fame being inducted today. Their names are Amy, the amoeba. Let's hear it for Amy Amoeba. And then, of course, the wonderful Perry, the Paramecium. Let's hear it for Perry, the Paramecium. And we would be remiss if we didn't mention Eugene the Euglena. Let's get to meet let's hear it for Eugene. Let's get to meet our Hall of Fame members a little bit more up close today.
All right. Hey now. Mr. Kovacs class. It's Mr. Kovacs class. You might learn a ton. It's Mr. Kovacs class.
It's interesting too.
It's Mr. Kovacs class. And he's super cool. It's Mr. Kovacs class.
And here she is, Amy the amoeba. Yes, that was Amy the amoeba. Amy the amoeba. Amy the amoeba. Amoeba. Like all unicellular organisms, she has a boundary called a membrane. And then within that membrane is the cellular goo. We call it the cytoplasm. And then some unicellular organisms have a little nugget. See that little nugget right there? A little nugget called the nucleus. A nucleus is where all of the genetic information would be contained. Now, Amy is a consumer. She eats other things. She oozes around in pond water, oozing, sticking out her, we call them pseudopods, little cell membrane extensions. Here, let's take a closer look at Amy the amoeba. There we go. There she is. See how she's oozing. There's Amy the amoeba. There she is, and she sticks out her cell membrane oozing. And actually, what she's doing right now is she's having lunch. Amoebas eat by hugging. They ooze their bodies around, and then that's it. That's Amy the amoeba. All right, here's Amy the amoeba. Now this picture is taken with a microscope, a light microscope. And yeah, Amy is kind of see-through. But you can see in Amy, she's got a boundary, right? She's got a boundary. And then she kind of oozy. Look, she's like oozing on the inside. You can see that her inside's kind of oozing along, and she sticks her boundary, her cell membrane out and oozes. We call these are called pseudopods. That's Amy in real life. And here he is, Perry the Paramecium. Let's get a closer look at Perry the Paramecium. Here's Perry the Paramecium. Like Amy, he has a membrane, boundary on the outside. Inside the membrane is a cellular goo we call cytoplasm. And then he also has this nugget floating around on the inside called the nucleus. But unlike Amy, Perry does not ooze. He wiggles. That's right, he wiggles. If you look closely at the outer part of his cell membrane, it's covered in these tiny little hair we call cilia. And as the cilia wiggle, that pushes Perry the Paramecium through the environment. The cilia, here, let's take a, all right? That's a cilia wiggle. That's Peri the Paramecium. All right, now here's some Paramecia. That's Peri. Again, you could see they've got a boundary. And now if you look real close, you can see they got little hairs on the outsides of their bodies. See them wiggling? Those are called cilia. And like Amy, they're kind of see-through, but they keep their shape. They don't change shape. They don't ooze like Amy does. That's Peri the Paramecium. And here he is, Eugene the Euglena. Let's take a closer look at our third member of the Hall of Fame, Eugene the Euglena. Now look at Eugene. He's interesting. Just like Amy and just like Peri, he has a membrane. A membrane. Inside that membrane is cytoplasm. And he also has the nucleus nugget floating around in there, but he's got something else. He's got these little green nuggets also floating around on the inside. These nuggets are green. We call them chloroplasts. And yes, if you thought that sounded familiar, it's true. That's the home of chlorophyll. Eugene can do photosynthesis. He's not a plant. He's only one cell big, but he can take sunlight, water, and do that fundamental process, you know? Now, Amy may ooze and Peri may wiggle. Not so much Eugene. Eugene moves by whipping. And he's got this little tail called a flagellum. He whips. Here, let's take a look at Eugene in action. And here's Eugene the Euglena. Notice the color. Green. Now, he's got kind of a shape like Peri. Kind of a teardrop shape, but he's oozy. But what's hard to see, maybe you can see it better, is how they don't really ooze. They have little tails called flagella to move around. And what's really convenient if you're a euglenoid is you can, you know, if it's shady where you're at, you can move to, oh, those are chloroplasts in plant cells, just for comparison. They're a euglena, they have chloroplasts too. And you can move to a sunny, light place if you wish. All right, here's a euglenoid. I think if you look really closely, you can see the whipping flagella. See it over here? Show us that flagellum, man. Where's that flagellum? It's whippy. Hard to see, but it's there. That's Eugene. 3 dance moves. Let's do Amy the amoeba. You gotta stretch out your pseudopod and move. Pseudopod, move. Pseudopod, move. Amy is oozing. Second move, Peri the Paramecium. You don't ooze, you wiggle your cilia. Let's see your fingers, cilia. Go at the side of your body and wiggle. Wiggle like a Paramecium. And then finally, the last move, Eugene doesn't wiggle, doesn't ooze. He's got a tail called a flagellum and he whips. Come on, whip that flagella. And then you can put them together and get down. Ooze. Ooze. Wiggle. Whip. Ooze. Ooze. You're welcome.